All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful morning. It is June 1st, 4th, 2025, and Wall Street was climbing back in. They were doing it quietly. The melt-up was continuing, and then we had ADP payrolls. Now, this is a little surprising. It is the worst ADP payrolls in the last 2 years, and it literally came in at 30,000. And right away, Donald Trump came out with the Truth Social and was telling Powell to cut rates. So it's actually interesting. We were gapped up a little bit more, I think close to like 0.5%. And then the data came out, and look, it's actually moving bonds and changing rate cut odds. So I thought that was very fascinating. It was definitely feeling one way, but now you're going to be hearing about this, and it does heighten some of the expected impact for the non-farms. Other than that, though, breakout or breakdown dynamics, everything else going on, and today is Wednesday, so we are going to hear about a couple of trade deals. We did hear this morning, Trump did say that Xi is difficult to deal with. I'll tell you, that guy, tough guy, but difficult guy. I know. So yeah, we're going to see how that all plays. But other than that, though, welcome to June, and it should be a good time. But Chattadonia, good morning. How are you, baby? What up, Suraj? What up, Mike? Brian, Dos Nacho, White Shits, Tim Whitman, baby. Good morning, Angel, Ion, Ivy, Lucky Soldier, Visionary Mayhem. Oh, good morning. Ansel, Nate, Orange Juice, Dr. James Cash, Karma, Garma, Kel, Roger, Liquid, Scare. Man, I'm seeing y'all in the evening. Then I see y'all bright and early, baby. Good morning. What up, Orange Juice? What up, Jamal? How you doing, Enrico? Kurt McGirt, Camp of Bulls, Sin City, baby. Caleb Wilson, No Step on Snack, John Saves, Tuttle, Drew, CJ, The Forbes, Tyree in the house, baby. Good morning, Mr. Wilson. Good morning, Mr. Edwards. What up, Axel, Mr. Schubert, Dystopian, Raquel, Chris Said, Ethan, baby. Oh, good morning. What up, Mr. Bobrick? What up, Jay Remy? What up, Canella? Oh, Gus Gonzo, are you ready? Man, what is it? Today, Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't even know. I'm just glad to be here, baby. Oh, yeah, it's Wednesday. So, Chad, I hope you guys are locked and loaded. We actually got a decent amount of headlines. And here's Josh AI with the news. Good morning. U.S. stock futures extend gains in jobs-focused week. U.S. stock futures extended gains as investors await further data on the labor market, which has so far held up better than expected amid the Trump administration's trade war. S&P 500 contracts rose 0.2% after the U.S. benchmark posted consecutive advances for the first time since mid-May. MSCI's gauge for global equities hit an all-time high after gains in European and Asian stocks. The dollar edged lower and U.S. Treasuries were little changed, while some economists fear a notable weakening in U.S. employment in the coming months under the weight of tariffs. That hasn't shown up in the data yet. The muted impact has lifted optimism and helped offset concerns over President Donald Trump's trade policies, which economists have warned could lead to an economic slowdown. Investors will follow services data and ADP's report on private sector employment later Wednesday for updated information on the strength of the U.S. economy ahead of Friday's non-farm payrolls report. The fact is that everybody was waiting for the U.S. economy to break, but the jobs data from yesterday demonstrates that it's not, said Benjamin Melman, Chief Investment Officer at Edmund de Rothschild Asset Management. As far as institutional investors are concerned, this is the most hated rally in a while. Options traders are betting the S&P 500 will post its smallest swing in months following Friday's employment report, highlighting how the recent data has calmed investor worries over the economic impact of Trump's tariffs. The benchmark is projected to move 0.9% in either direction on Friday. According to data compiled by Piper Sandler and Company, that figure, based on the prices of S&P 500 option straddles as of Tuesday's close, is the smallest implied swing ahead of a jobs print since February. Still, strategists have warned that the trade war and ongoing geopolitical tensions will continue to disrupt markets. Trump said in a late-night social media post that Chinese leader Xi Jinping was very tough to make a deal with, raising questions about whether a fragile economic truce between the world's two largest economies will hold. It's really getting complicated for investors to position
position themselves given the lack of visibility, the uncertainty, and with markets fully valued, said Roland Kaloyan, head of equity strategy at Societe Generale SA. While global stocks have rebounded from their April lows, differences in the pace of recovery are emerging, with Europe and Asia leading gains over the U.S. The Stock 600 rose 0.5% on Wednesday, setting the gauge on track for its biggest advance in more than a week. In the U.S., Nvidia Corp rose 0.8% in pre-market trading after reclaiming the title of the world's largest company from Microsoft Corp on Tuesday. Europe is still cheap, but that steep discount is no longer there. Andu portfolio manager at Julius Baer told Bloomberg TV there is still room for U.S. assets that are truly unique. The Magnificent Seven, or large cap tech, is still growing earnings at high 30% year on year. Corporate highlights: industrial companies Chart Industries Inc. and Flowserve Corp. agreed to merge in a deal valuing the combined company at about $19 billion. Tesla Inc.'s vehicle shipments from its China factory fell for an 8th straight month, extending a global sales slump as Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk pledges to renew his focus on the automaker. China is considering placing an order for hundreds of Airbus SE aircraft as soon as next month. Dollar Tree Inc. warned investors that its second quarter profit could be down as much as 50% from a year ago as it deals with increased tariff-related costs and a strained consumer. Apple Inc. shares fell in pre-market trading on Wednesday, suggesting the iPhone maker would extend its 2025 weakness as Wall Street remains concerned about its growth prospects and position in the landscape for artificial intelligence. Walmart Inc. is terminating some store workers in Florida who are losing temporary legal residency. CrowdStrike Holdings Inc. shares fell after the cybersecurity company projected revenue for the current quarter that trailed estimates. STMicroelectronics NV is set to deliver at least the midpoint of its guidance this quarter after the Franco-Italian chipmaker saw better than expected sales of its technology to consumer electronics makers and Chinese industrial users. Franklin Templeton agreed to buy a majority stake in European private credit firm Apera Asset Management, deepening the U.S. asset manager's push into alternatives. World record: the never-ending back and forth on tariffs, an escalating war in Ukraine, growing concern about the U.S.'s mounting debt and deficits, and a congressional budget process that seems unlikely to address the problem. It sounds like a recipe for a bear market, and yet global stocks just hit an all-time high. The MSCI All-Country World Index is up 5.6% this year, surpassing its record from February. The trade tariff drama is now increasingly seen for what it is, a massive trade uncertainty rather than a trade crash, said Florian Ielpo at Lombard Odier Investment Managers. Looking beyond this white noise, markets are now focusing again on the present situation, which is actually not too bad. The rebound from April lows has been helped by Trump's softer tone on tariffs. Recession fears have also eased following a robust corporate earnings season in the U.S. and Europe, while recent data show the U.S. labor market remains healthy. Elon Musk blasts Trump tax bill as budget-busting abomination. Donald Trump ally Elon Musk lambasted the president's signature tax bill as a budget-busting abomination as Republican fiscal hawks stepped up criticism of the massive fiscal package. The tech titan's public condemnation pits him against the president at a critical time as Trump is personally lobbying holdouts on the bill. The remarks could stiffen resistance and delay enactment of the tax cuts and debt ceiling increase. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination, Musk wrote in a social media post. Shame on those who voted for it. Musk attacked the legislation days after leaving a temporary assignment leading the administration's Department of Government Efficiency initiative to cut federal spending. The Tesla Inc. chief executive officer's high-profile role in the Trump administration eroded his business brand, and sales of his company's electric vehicles plunged. He followed up on his attack, saying on X that the tax bill more than defeats all the cost savings achieved by the @Doge team at great personal cost and risk. Ship carrying EVs abandoned in Pacific after catching fire. A ship carrying about 3,000 cars to Mexico was abandoned in the middle of the Pacific Ocean after catching fire Tuesday. Smoke was first seen coming from a deck on the Morning Midas that was carrying electric vehicles. The ship's manager, Zodiac Maritime, said in a statement it has about 800 EVs on board. The crew initiated firefighting procedures, but the blaze could not be brought under control, it added. The U.S. Coast Guard evacuated all 22 crew members, transferring them to a nearby merchant ship. The Coast Guard said earlier it was sending air crews and a vessel toward the ship, where crew had been actively fighting a blaze. Zodiac confirmed that responders are being deployed to support salvage and firefighting operations. The ship departed the Chinese port of Yantai on May 26th. Top overnight news, trade, tariffs. Trump says China President Xi, extremely hard to make deal with Bloomberg FT. Trump's steel and aluminum tariff hike to take effect from 4 June. FT, Bloomberg, Reuters, Axios. Trump exempts UK from the new 50% tariff on steel and aluminum for 5 weeks, Bloomberg. Mexico will seek exemption from the U.S. steel tariff increase to 50%, Bloomberg. U.S.-China trade fight morphing in battle over global supply chains, NY Times. U.S. and China have differing interpretations of rare earth agreements from recent trade talks, Bloomberg, while China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi urges U.S.-China relations to return to right track. Reuters, EU and U.S. escalate trade tensions as Paris talks open amid 50% tariff threat. FT. EU and China agreed a 4th round of trade talks this month ahead of July summit. Nikkei. Chinese companies move to assure investors about their resilience to U.S. tariffs. Bloomberg. Global automakers warn China's export restrictions on critical minerals may disrupt production. Link. Reuters. India challenges U.S. auto tariffs at the WTO, signaling a tougher trade stance amid ongoing negotiations. Bloomberg. New tariffs on aircraft and parts may jeopardize air safety and supply chains, industry warns. Reuters. Trump administration demands Vietnam reduce reliance on Chinese goods in tariff negotiations. Reuters. South Korea's new president will seek to extend deadline for U.S. trade deal. Reuters. Bloomberg. Washington. Trump pushes 4 July deadline for tax bill, lashes out at Senator Rand Paul. NY Times. Senate Majority Leader Thune flags changes to House proposal raising SALT deduction. Bloomberg. Trump initially resisted Medicaid cuts but adopted rhetoric, claiming no cuts in the tax bill. Bloomberg. Musk calls Trump's bill disgusting abomination, but Senate Republicans downplay his influence on legislation. Politico. Axios. House GOP leaders aiming to move $9.4 billion rescissions package through House next week. Politico. White House pauses Social Security penalties for student loan borrowers. Axios. Trump expected to waive Defense Production Act requirement in bid to boost U.S. production of critical minerals. Reuters. Trump nominates Chris Pilkington to oversee foreign investment screening as Assistant Treasury Secretary. Bloomberg. Trump requested Congress to rescind $9.4 billion in foreign aid and CPB funding, targeting perceived media bias. Axios. Central banks. The Fed officials maintain cautious stance on rate outlook amid stagflation risks from tariffs. Reuters. BOJ's Ueda says Japan can withstand U.S. tariff impact and sustain cycle of rising inflation. Reuters. Lagarde faced questions on ECB future as inflation target nears and WEF roll beckons. Bloomberg. Markets pricing in 2 Fed rate cuts in 2025, but options traders positioning for wider range of outcomes. Bloomberg. Korean stocks rally as Lee Jae-myung's election win expectations of policy support, corporate governance reforms. Bloomberg. Economy. U.S. auto sales slumped most in roughly 5 years in May after tariff fears pulled demand forward. Reuters. U.S. farm sentiment rises to four-year high, with growers anticipating stronger crop exports from White House trade deals. Bloomberg, Eurozone private sector grew slightly in May, with the composite PMI at 50.2, economy close to stagnation. Bloomberg, Reuters, UK services sector grew to 50.9 in May, recovering from April's contraction due to tariff fears. Reuters, Japan's service sector growth slowed in May, indicating near zero overall business growth. Reuters, Germany unveils 46 billion euros corporate tax breaks to revive stagnant economy. FT, UK's Reeves to unveil £113 billion infrastructure boost in crucial spending review amid political pressure. Bloomberg, South Korea inflation falls to 5-month low, backing Bach's dovish stance. Reuters, Australian GDP growth slows by more than expected, reinforcing RBA rate cut expectations. Bloomberg, corporate Tesla's China-made EV sales fell 15% in May, while BYD's sales rose 14.1%. Reuters, Datch, CrowdStrike revenue guidance below expectations in a sign of softer spending on cybersecurity. Reuters, Bloomberg, HP revenue tops estimates, tariffs to have milder impact on profit than initially expected. Bloomberg, Wells Fargo $2T asset cap removed 7 years after fake account scandal. FT, Yahoo Finance, Axios, Meta has agreed to purchase electricity from an Illinois nuclear plant for 20 years, supporting its AI initiatives. FT, Counterpoint cuts 2025 global smartphone shipment growth forecast to 1.9% due to tariff uncertainties. Reuters, data centers' rapid growth raised costs by $9.4 billion, impacting utility bills for consumers. Bloomberg, Chinese airlines may order hundreds of Airbus aircraft next month. Bloomberg, most Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders rejected CEO David Zaslav's compensation package at the annual meeting. Bloomberg, Toyota Industries shares fell over 12% after a disappointing $33 billion take-private offer. Reuters, FT, Remy Cointreau abandoned its 2030 sales goals due to tariffs and slow U.S. sales. Reuters, Geopolitics, Iran is open to a U.S. nuclear deal involving a regional uranium enrichment consortium in Iran. Axios, Iran's supreme leader criticizes U.S. nuclear deal proposal, calling American officials arrogant. FT, Bloomberg, Reuters, Kremlin dismisses chances of Trump-Putin-Zelensky meeting soon, citing complex peace negotiations. SCMP,
there's more. S&P futures, they are flat on Wednesday morning, comes after U.S. equities finished higher on Tuesday, with upside leadership from small caps, AI semis, dollar stores, energy, and crowded shorts. S&P ended the day up just under 20% from its post-Liberation Day closing. Treasuries firmer across the curve, yields down by 4 to 6 basis points, dollars down by 0.2, gold down by 0.2, Bitcoin down by 1.3, and WTI down by 0.4. Big story today has been much softer than expected. May ADP private payrolls print and accompanying rate rally put some added scrutiny on May non-farms this Friday, which may be expected to provide further hard data support for the resilient macro narrative. Also adds to the scrutiny surrounding the Fed, as Trump was quick to renew a call for easing. Nothing particularly incremental on trade, as the market awaits confirmation as to whether Trump and Xi will actually hold a call this week, as White House has previewed. Big question is whether expectations around a call may be too elevated, particularly with Trump sensitive to the taco narrative. Lots of headlines surrounding the complications for the GOP reconciliation bill in Senate, SALT, Medicaid, IRA tax credits, as well as the broader deficit scrutiny surrounding the legislation, though still ultimately expected to pass. May ADP private payrolls of 37,000, below consensus of 130, lowest since March of 2023. Prior month also revised down to 2K from 60,000. Manufacturing, trade, transports, education, health, professional, business, services, all negative month over month. However, wage growth, little change month over month, and comes ahead of Friday's employment report. Non-farms are expected to go up by 125 versus a 177 gain in April. ISM services is on the calendar today, followed by Fed's beige book this afternoon. ISM services expected to improve. Fed Bostic and Cook scheduled to speak this morning. Bostic said yesterday that he sees only one rate cut this year. In Washington, President Trump set to meet with members of Senate Finance Committee to discuss tax provisions in the reconciliation bill. Looking ahead, trade balance, initial claims, final Q1 productivity, and unit labor cost out on Thursday. Wells Fargo up on formal lifting of asset cap that has been in place since 2018. BLK removed from Texas restriction list after pulling back from ESG involvement. Crowd takeaways largely positive, though stock tripped up by slightly softer Q1 revenue and Q2 revenue guide. Unchanged full-year revenue guidance and elevated expectation into the print. HPE fiscal Q2 better, Q3 guide above, full-year guidance changed mix, and some talk of low expectations into the print. Dollar Tree Q1 ahead while Q2 EPS guide and bar higher following DG tailwind on Tuesday. G-Wire a big gainer with fiscal Q3 results, cloud deal momentum, and upwardly revised full-year guide. HQY beat and raised, some positive sentiment surrounding fraud control update. FLS and GTLS announced all-stock merger. Light higher on back of positive fiscal Q4 announcement. ASON pressured by billings miss and guide down. Post to acquire 8th Avenue feud and provisions for net payment of $880 million. ALV reiterated full-year guide and boosted capital return. And THO beat on macro commentary cautious. Wow, Habibi. Decent time. We got to run through it, baby. Good morning. So here are your pre-market movers. We got a decent amount. It's actually not that much. Like I was saying before the ADP, it was looking really good, but then yeah, that data came in. So we will see. But G-Wire, they're up by 13 off earnings. HPE, 7 off earnings. Snow, 3.6. UBS upgrade. CoreWeave's up 5 for no reason. XP is up 2.5. Goldman upgrade. WFC, Wells Fargo, 2.4 on the asset cap. SBET is up 18. RDW up 9.2. NASA approval of Mason Manufacturing. Light up 9.0. Raises fiscal quarter 4 guide. RevG, 8.9 off earnings. THO, 6.9 off earnings. FLS, all stock merger with GTLS. WHD up 2.6. Barclays upgrade. ALV raises dividend. New repurchase program. They're up 2.1. NG is up by 2.1. RBC upgrade. KWM is up 53. 500 million stock sale agreement with Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Oh, that's one of them. So again, this was just like SBET. Same. I need to look into the details, but they did the same exact bullshit. Where I was like, you guys aren't even worth 500 million. Where the fuck did you get it? So yeah, same exact thing. MCTR up 46 off nothing. NCEW 27 to acquire 51% of Asiatic Logistics. SGMT 22 phase 3 trial. Yext up 12.9. JFIN up 10 off earnings. AGen up 8.6. HC Wainwright upgrade. CAMG up 3.9. Update on crypto mining asset purchases. Crowd down 7 off earnings. Dollar Tree down 2 off earnings. Constellation down 2.1. City downgrade. ASON down 11 off earnings. MRUS down 5. 5 million offering. Qubits down 2.5. 400 mixed shelved offering. And FWRG down 4.4. 4 million share block being shopped around. Wow. Habibi. Okay, good time. So Chattadonia, it's going to be an interesting one. I think even all week, all month, baby. But yes, welcome to the cult. And here at the cult, before the day starts, before we try to enrich ourselves, before we try to chase a dollar, we must pay homage to a very special group of people that has made a sacrifice that most of us never have and ever will. And I am talking about the veterans of the United States of America. So on behalf of the cult, the people here, the people not here, I want to give a huge special shout out all the active servicemen, past servicemen, anybody who has served this country for real. Thank you for everything you have given. I hope you know you are loved and appreciated, and I hope we could help. If anybody should be owning stocks in real estate, it should be you. You have already fought for this country. It is your time to own it, and at the very least, I just want to say thank you. And I know thousands of people in here, they feel the exact same way. And for all of you who have never served, I truly hope you bring this into real life. I hope you bring this into community and culture, because if we don't honor those who have given up everything, why like that doesn't make any sense. So I really hope we could do this, man. Your voice has already had an impact, Chaz, so keep it up. And veterans, the families, thank you for all of your sacrifices and everything you've given, and God bless every single one of you. And big shout out to anybody else out there giving back to their local communities: doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, the janitors, the garbage men, the coaches, anybody making their community run. God bless you and thank you, baby. But ladies and gentlemen, please rise up. Place your right hand over your heart. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, baby. Son of the Dutch! Oh, it's game time, baby. Horna. on, TSM popping. Popping. So, Chatadonia. We got 5 minutes. All right, we got good time now. We got good time. There's the bell. There's the pledge. Shout out to the veterans, baby. Are you ready? It's Wednesday. Oh, yeah. Let's have a good one. So, Chad, I hope you're locked and loaded. Those are all of your headlines. And now, get ready for trade deals and data and data and trade deals and trade deals and data. So, yeah, I will see you guys over there. That's going to be on Gen Pop. I hope you have a wonderful morning and happy Wednesday. Peace. For a little bit, little piece. I'll see you soon. I'll see you.